In October 2020, Sam Dubble, a 33-year-old university professor and an experienced mountaineer, mysteriously disappeared while on an overnight hike in Mount Rainier National Park, Washington, USA. This was a trip he had meticulously prepared for, from his itinerary and survival gear to informing his loved ones. However, what no one expected was that Sam would never return. After Sam failed to return as planned, authorities launched a large-scale, multi-day search involving rescue teams, helicopters, K-9 units, and volunteers. His car was found at the trailhead parking lot with a water bottle inside, but there was absolutely no trace that he had ever come back. The search was repeatedly interrupted by harsh weather, with heavy snowfall and dense fog making access to the mountainous area dangerous. Despite using locating devices and modern technology to track him, there were no signs of Sam, no tent, no clothing, no footprints. Sam's family and friends have not given up hope, organizing numerous fundraising campaigns and appealing to media to continue the search. However, to this day, his disappearance remains an unsolved mystery, leaving behind immense grief and unanswered questions. Sam Dubble was not only a promising young intellectual, but also a symbol of a passion for exploring nature. And it was that very nature that silently and cruelly swallowed him whole. The mysterious disappearance of Vincent G., young Indonesian student. In June 2020, Vincent G., a 24-year-old Indonesian student studying in the U.S., suddenly vanished while on a hiking trip. This wasn't Vincent's first trip. He loved nature, frequently explored national parks, and was experienced in outdoor activities. This time, however, his journey ended in silence, with no goodbye and no clear trace. The last time Vincent was seen was when he left his car to begin a hike in a mountainous forest area in California. Afterward, he did not return. His car was discovered in a parking lot far from the city, still intact with no signs of a break-in. But from that point on, all clues about Vincent completely vanished. Immediately after receiving the missing person report, local authorities organized an extensive search, including rescue teams, K-9 units, and drones. They scoured the forest area where Vincent was believed to have been, hoping to find the smallest trace. However, after days of relentless searching, not a single sign of Vincent was found. No backpack, no personal items, no footprints or clothing. Vincent's disappearance shocked the international student community and raised many questions. What happened in that forest? Was it an accident or something more sinister? Though years have passed, the case remains unsolved, leaving his family back home in pain and hopeless waiting. Vincent G. has now become one of the strangest and most unanswered disappearance cases in the United States. The strange disappearance of Eric Lewis, seasoned mountaineer. In July 2010, Eric Lewis, a 57-year-old American mountaineer, mysteriously vanished while summiting Mount Rainier with two friends in severe weather conditions. As a climber with years of experience, Eric was trusted to be at the rear of the group, connected to the other two by a safety rope. During a sudden snowstorm, the climbing team was forced to stop and assess the situation. When his two friends in front pulled the rope to check on Eric's position, they were horrified to find the rope empty. Eric was no longer there. No one heard a scream, and there were no obvious signs of a fall or an accident. After hours of searching in bad weather, rescue teams found some of Eric's gear, including his backpack and climbing harness, deep inside an ice cave below the route the group had taken. However, Eric himself was completely gone, leaving no trace behind. The incident shocked the mountaineering community, leaving a haunting question for years. What really happened to Eric Lewis in that moment amidst the white snow and cold rock? To this day, he is still considered missing without a known cause. Joseph Leawood Jr., young writer, vanishes after a solo hike. In July 1999, Joseph Leawood Jr., a 34-year-old writer and editor from New York, mysteriously disappeared while hiking alone in a remote, wild mountainous area in the American West, shortly after attending a literary conference. As someone who loved nature and sought creative inspiration for his trips, Joseph decided to spend a few extra days exploring the mountains before returning to New York. However, that adventure became the last time anyone saw him. Joseph was not carrying all the necessary equipment for the trip. He lacked a locating device, had no specialized survival tools, and seemed ill-prepared for the unpredictable weather of the region. The last time he was seen was by another hiker, who reported that Joseph appeared tired but was still determined to continue his journey. His rental car was found at a trailhead parking lot, still intact and with no signs of being tampered with. From there were no other clues about Joseph. Search efforts by rescue teams were launched immediately, but yielded no results. According to authorities, the unusually warm weather and rapid snowmelt at the time might have erased any tracks Joseph left behind. More than 2 decades have passed, but the disappearance of Joseph Leawood Jr. remains an unsolved mystery. His family, friends, and the literary community still remember him as a talented man who vanished into the vast wilderness with no one knowing what happened. Chad Hansen, young photographer missing with expensive equipment. In November 1997, Chad Hansen, a 27-year-old freelance photographer, mysteriously disappeared while on a day hike in a wilderness area in the American West. With a passion for capturing the majestic beauty of mountains, forests, and wildlife, Chad was carrying nearly 16 kilograms of professional photography equipment, including a high-end camera, a telephoto lens, and a tripod. To shoot a photo series he planned to submit to a prestigious magazine, he left his motel early in the morning and drove to the parking area near the trail he intended to follow. However, when he did not return by the end of the day and could not be contacted, a search was immediately organized. Chad's car was found in the parking lot, locked and with no unusual signs. However, there was no trace of Chad or the photography equipment he was carrying. Rescue teams and volunteers scoured the entire surrounding area for days with the help of K-9 units and helicopters, but found absolutely no clues. No one knows what happened. Did he have an accident and fall into a deep crevice? Or was it something more sinister, a robbery, or an attack for his expensive camera gear? That question remains unanswered to this day. Chad Hansen's disappearance not only brought grief to his family and friends, but also left a void in the photography community, where he is still remembered as a promising young talent who vanished in the wilderness with no one knowing why. Conclusion and warning: unsolved mysteries and lessons for the future. These mysterious disappearances in the wilderness, from seasoned mountaineers to solo travelers, always leave a big question mark for both experts and the public. Although many theories have been proposed, from accidents, wild animals, and severe weather to supernatural factors, most cases leave no clear evidence, making one shudder and ask, what really happened? The video closes with a haunting question. Is there some hidden force in nature, a place that seems to be just forests, rocks, and white snow, that is silently devouring those who dare to venture there? Or was it their own overconfidence, lack of preparation, and misjudgment of risks that led them into a perilous situation with no escape? The narrator does not forget to issue a warning to all who love outdoor activities, especially hiking or exploring wild areas. Whether you are a beginner or have years of experience, you should always carry a personal locator beacon, PLB. This is a tool that can help you send an emergency distress signal to rescue units via satellite, even when you have no cell service. Additionally, always inform a loved one of your exact itinerary, prepare sufficient survival gear, a map, and allow plenty of extra time to return. Nature is always beautiful, but it is also full of unpredictable dangers. A single moment of carelessness could make you part of these unsolved mysteries.